What is up, guys? Mr. Rasmussen here, otherwise known as the Woodbender, because I am the master of all the shop elements, and today I'm continuing my pen making series by making pen number 19 out of 27. The 27 pens are all rare or exotic wood species, and so far I'm just super pumped with how well the collection is coming along. And I know I say this every time, but I am especially excited to add today's pen to the collection because today's pen comes from Mexico, Central America, and the West Indies, and it's called Bocote. This one's going to be awesome because Bocote is in no way a weak or unstable wood, but it is most often used for aesthetic reasons over mechanical purposes. This is because the grain of this wood grows extremely irregularly and thus creates a unique and rare pattern that just looks incredible. The wood itself usually doesn't come in boards wide and long enough to make furniture, so it usually fits into projects as accent wood. Bocote is an excellent turning wood, and other common uses include knife handles, pool cues, musical instruments, boat building, and pistol grips. So just like the other episodes in my pen series, I will be rating this wood based off of 3 categories, and then I'll be giving the pen an R score. The R score is where I rank it as my favorite pen within my collection, and the 3 categories are price, workability, and aesthetics. So starting out with price, Bocote is in a moderate to high price range for an imported wood species. You can expect to spend about $30 to $40 per board foot of Bocote. For the price category, I give Bocote a 5 out of 10. Moving on to workability, Bocote wasn't bad. It was easy to work with, and I don't really have any complaints. So for workability, I give Bocote a 7.5 out of 10. And wrapping it up with aesthetics, all I can say is, wow! This pen turned out amazingly. The grain pattern is so irregular, it creates such an interesting look. I love just admiring this pen. So for aesthetics, I give Bocote a 9 out of 10. And now for the R score. As of the making of this video, there are 18 other pens in my collection, and after everything, I will be rewarding Bocote with the number 2 spot in my collection, ahead of Purple Heart and behind Macassar Ebony. I mean, just take a minute to appreciate this one. From the colors, the streaks of the grain, and the irregularity of the lines. The thing I love about trees, wood, and woodworking is that each piece of wood is completely unique. Each piece came from a living tree that spent its years on earth fighting and striving to survive, usually amongst adverse conditions. The lines of the grain tell the story and the history of each tree. Each line usually represents a year of growth in the life of the tree. The lines that grow close together demonstrate times of drought and slow growth, while the growth rings spaced far apart show times of rapid growth and plenty of rain in favorable conditions. As I look at each piece, I try to imagine the history of the tree and what it's been through. I think about the lifetimes of humans that the trees have often surpassed, and about how now, even in death, after serving a purpose in the earth, I, being a craftsman, a woodworker, or an artist, I'm finding a new purpose for this tree. There's a scene that I really like in the new Amazon series, Rings of Power. In this scene, there are elves imprisoned and enforced into slave labor, digging holes beneath fields of crop. As they're digging, they come upon an absolutely massive tree. The roots go so deep down into the soil that it is impossible for them to continue tunneling. The orc and prisoners command the elves to rip up the tree, while the elves suggest that they tunnel around the tree, because ripping up such a massive tree would take much longer to do compared to just finding an alternate route. The orcs once again command for the tree to be brought down and the roots ripped out, when one elf in particular, I forget his name right now, but he says, This tree sprang from the earth long before you crawled. It has earned its place in these lands. It's earned its place in the earth. I kind of love that. I love that because living and surviving on this earth as a species or as an individual of a species is no small feat. Our earth can be cruel and uncompassionate to its residents at times. When there's a living thing that has lived and survived on our earth for centuries, it's something that I believe deserves respect. I mean, it's the reason why thousands of people go to visit the redwood forests every year in California. Those trees, and every tree, has earned their place in the earth. Without trees, life as we know it would not exist on our planet. These massive plants, through photosynthesis, produce the oxygen that is necessary for our survival. No one really knows what will become of the great and mighty rainforests in South America and Asia over the next 50 to 100 years, but I hope that as a human race, we can agree that these trees need to stay and need to be used only as a renewable resource. I love trees, I love woodworking and wood, and I'll just end this episode with a quote from the psychologist Carl Jung. He said, "For a tree to grow to heaven, its roots must reach down to hell." I hope you can take a minute to dissect that sentence and just discover what it means. Anyways, this pen has just made me really pensive and reflective today, and I've really enjoyed making it, and I think it'll always have a special place in my collection. So with that, guys, this episode is complete. Thanks for sticking around till the end. Here's all the pen blanks that I still need to turn, so go ahead and like and follow along, and you can let me know which one you think I should do next.